Welcome back. Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And first off, I'd like to say thanks to Zelric here on YouTube and Zelric42 on Instagram for doing another pass around on some Wee knives. Great opportunity to get your hands on some knives that you wouldn't necessarily have the money for or otherwise not pick up. So thanks a lot, Zell. Really appreciate that. And the knife we have in front of you is the Wee Knives 704. And I'm just going to say right off the bat that this knife, along with the 702, are my two favorite Wee designs to date. So what do you have on the 704? You have a very attractive trailing point blade shape with a full flat ground with a black stone-washed blade that is left completely sterile, which I love that. Absolutely love it. As you can see, there's no markings on either side of the blade, and the only markings there are at all in the blade is very well hidden, and that is the blade steel, which is Bowler M390. Great premium blade steel and one of my favorites in the performance category. This knife comes in right around $224 at Blade HQ. I think they have them on sale right now for the holidays. Then you come back to this portion of the blade. You have a complete 50-50 choil, which is done really nicely, or maybe it's about a 45-50 choil, but I can get a full finger on there without worrying about cutting it. You don't have any top swedges, but you do have, I don't know if I'm going to pick this up, but you do have a chamfer that runs the entire length of the blade. You also have a very gradual distal taper. Comes down to a nice point for piercing. You have some functional jimping up here. I'd call it moderate. It's definitely not going to tear up your fingers, but it definitely, when you bear it down, you definitely do get some traction on there. You also have the three lines that, for Wee's logo right here. And they did a good job of tying it in with the jimping up top. Pretty much every other jimp the lines tie into. So we talked about the blade. With this full flat grind, you're going to have a good slicer on your hand. You're not going to have a big wedge. It's not ground super thin, but definitely thin enough to get your day-to-day EDC task done. The coating has held up pretty good. I cut up boxes, sisal rope, zip ties. See, that's about the only, you can see a little smudging of the coating. I cut up some plastic bottles and I shaved some 2x4 to check the ergos out. Speaking of ergos, they're really good in this grip, your hammer grip. They're okay in this grip. Love this grip right here when you're cutting open the box so you don't pierce any more than that of the box. Just that portion is going to go in there. So I use this a lot. And reverse grip is okay. I will say that being this such a slender handle right here and it's not super thick, that if you take this outside of its normal task, which I would say is a gentleman's carry or light EDC task, if you're taking in this to a hard use roll, doing a lot of pressure cutting, I noticed when I was cutting into 2x4 that it kind of wanted to turn on me a little bit. It wasn't bad, but it was just whenever I was doing a lot of force cuts, which with this type of knife was not something I normally use that for. It'd be my normal breaking down boxes, everybody's day-to-day EDC task. Real quick, let's get some size comparisons out of the way. Got the steel wheel cut jack, 3.5 inch. These two are pretty much identical in size. The Wee might be a hair bigger. Got the Spyderco Delica. Delica's a good bit smaller. Let's see, what else do I have nearby. Got the Benchmade Presidio 2 that I'll have a review coming up soon. The Presidio 2 is a good bit bigger. And one more that I have nearby is the Spyderco Manix 2. And the Manix might be a hair bit bigger, but not by much. But definitely in the width category, this one is definitely nice in the pocket. So let's go back into the handle of this guy. You have these titanium overlays. You can also get it with carbon fiber. I like this color combo because I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, being that I live in Louisiana. And you have the New Orleans Saints colors. You get your black and gold. WE does a great job on their anodizing coatings. I always find they're very consistent. You don't ever have any differences in color, at least to the ones I've had. Like I said, this knife is very slender in pocket. Let me see if I got my calipers nearby. Let's get a width on this guy. I'm not doing all the specs on this because there's plenty of reviews out. 0.98 inches. Wait, hold on. There's a lot of reviews out right now on this knife, so I just kind of giving my thoughts on it. If you want to look up, you can look up the specs. So a little bit over an inch wide. That's very, very nice, especially for an EDC blade. And real quick, I'm going to get the weight on this guy because I will say this is a lightweight. Feels very light in hand for the size. 3.46 ounces, so that, to me, that's awesome weight for everyday carry knife, at least in my eyes it is. Go back here, you will see that there's no lanyard hole that's breaking up the lines or the design of this knife, but they did not leave you lanyard guys out. I like how they put this lanyard pin out in there. I love seeing that. It doesn't, put a hole in the knife, and if you're not a lanyard guy, it doesn't detract from the looks. Come look at the flipper tab. The flipper tab is very non-obtrusive. To me, it's a great size. You can see you got some jimping right there for your light switch, which it has a nice snappy action. It's riding on ceramic bearings and ceramic detent ball, just like all the WE knives. And as you can see, you have a spot up there for doing your push button. It rockets out with the push button more so than the light switch, but they're both adequate at deployment. Let's see. As you can see, you have your black coated pivot and the proprietary hardware on this knife. And I like the extra added touch of the satin on the flats right here. That's just a nice little added feature. Flip it over. You have your proprietary pivot that's also coated black with your milled titanium pocket clip. WE's pocket clips, especially their titanium, well, all of them are titanium, but they do an excellent job of getting their pocket clips right. I haven't had any trouble getting them in and out of any pockets that I've had. There you go. That's how far this knife sits in pockets. So it's not a deep carry by any means. Definitely got enough to grab onto the knife. You have your slanted pockets. Someone asked me not to pull up that on this side, so that's the best I could do. It's not a regular pocket, so there you go. More sticks out with your slanted, but to me that's enough of the knife in the pocket. Let's see, I talked on pretty much everything. I'm gonna call this a liner lock just for the fact that it's not a really beefy lock bar right there, especially right here at the relief cut. Let's see if I can show that better. It is bigger than what it appears. That's what she said, huh? If you turned over here, they just have a lot of they got a lot of chamfering that gives it the illusion that it's thinner than it is, but it is beefy. It's beefy enough, especially for a day-to-day EDC task. Flip it over on this side, you have a titanium backspacer that has a little bit of jimping on there for, I guess, some texture. No problems with putting your hand in here and touching the blade. It sits nice in there. This knife has great blade to handle ratio, and they have this backspacer that goes up right there, so you're not going to have to worry about coming in contact with that tip whatsoever. So do I think this knife is worth $224? Hell yes, I do. I think this is an excellent EDC office carry. To me, it's not, that scary looking of a blade. Get some very minor nitpicks. Nothing hurting the functionality of the blade, and just what I prefer. If I were to be buying this knife, which I may buy one of these because I've enjoyed it that much, I'll probably go with the non-coated blade. I'm just not a tactical coated blade guy. Let's see. Also, I would like to see them starting to thin out their grinds a little bit. I had no issues, but I like a nice performance grind, especially when you got bearings in a knife. You're not really suited for hard use, out in the dirt task. So I'd like to see a thinner grind, but it was definitely adequate for all the testing that I've done. I didn't put this one on the wicked edge because it's a little harder for me to sharpen full flat grinds, but I have stropped this knife, and let's see how this M390 held up, because I did notice on the 702 that the performance came out really nicely once I put a nice polished edge on there. The factory edge was sharp, but it just didn't last as long. Let's see how this one held up. Yeah, pretty good. This is some very flimsy paper, so for just dropping this knife, I'll probably hit it up on the Spyderco Sharp Maker and it'll probably be just fine. If not, I will sharpen it up on the wicked edge. There you go. So definitely got a nice working edge on there. Good to go. The action is very nice and falls shut. That blade's rather light, so it's not going to be a complete drop shut, but it's adequate. You have ample enough room and jimping on that lock bar to get your thumb in there to disengage it. Lefties, even though the pocket clip is not reversible, you can easily deploy it and disengage with your left hand. I'm not left-handed, but as you can see, I'm pretty good with my left hand, but you can definitely disengage and deploy this knife with absolutely no problem. You just have it clipped on the opposite side. Not a huge deal for me. I actually carried this knife on my left side just because I was carrying this along with this guy right here. And real quick, while I have these two, I'll do a size comparison. So if you wanted an idea of the differences in size between these two guys, this is the WE Knife 702, the integral frame. I probably already have my review up of this one. If not, it'll be coming shortly after this one. So there you go. You can see that the 702 is a good bit larger. Let's real quick while I have the 702 comes in right at around 8 7/8 inches overall, and the 704 comes in right at around 8 1/8 inches. So they're not that much, about a half-inch difference in these, or 3/4 of an inch. I'm sorry. So I'll tell you, I absolutely love both of these knives. This one more so. This one would be more suited for a work task, even though you're on bearings. It's got a beefier blade stock. You got to look. Actually, no. Let me check that out before I say that. It looks beefier. I know this one has no distal taper to the blade, so maybe that's why. 0.157. So no, they got the same blade stock. Just looks different, being that this one has a distal taper to it to the tip, and this one has no distal taper, even though it looks like it, but it's just a swedge causing that effect. So the only thing that I could say, okay, Um, this was such a hard choice because I like a lighter weight EDC knife, you know, just something that's not going to be uh, weighing the pockets down. Let's get a difference in weight on these two guys. But I'll tell you, the price difference being that you got an integral frame lock here. This one comes in at $264. This one comes in at $224. That's pretty crazy that they were able to achieve this one for like $40 more for an integral frame. So I don't know. It's is pretty much, you know, they compare. This one's at 5.7 ounces, and this one is at 3.46. So if you like your lighter weight EDC knives, then go with this guy. If you don't mind the extra weight and you want an integral frame lock, go with this guy. I like the look and the finish of this blade a little bit more than this one, just because you got the added top swedge here with that hand rub satin that is very, very attractive. The action on the 702 is very snappy, a lot more snappy, I guess, because you have a longer blade. It's a lot more snappier in this one. The detent's dialed in a little bit better here. And you have more lock bar tension, which is going to cause, you know, a little bit stiffer of a detent. This one just has a nice snappier action on it. But like I said, it's all going to depend on what you're looking for in the knife. If you want light and a little bit smaller, go with the 704. If you don't mind the extra weight and you want to step up to an integral frame lock, then go with this guy. I think, you know, when I first got him, it was hands down this guy. I love my trailing points, and I like the weight of this guy. But after carrying these two guys and testing them, I'm going to have to say the winner is going to have to be the 702. It just, I don't know. It's just a little bit more comfortable. You got that extra blade length. They're both about the same width and pocket. Let's see, or pretty close. You know, the 702 may be a hair bit wider, but not by much. So it's just going to depend on your preferences and tastes. So let's get back to this one. Great knife. Hope to see more simplistic designs like this from WE rather than their pretty, you know, futuristic looking designs. But I'm gonna call it right now. My two favorite WE designs of 2017: the WE 702 and the 704. Hope everybody enjoyed this video. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Share it out to all your friends and family. And if I haven't already done my 1,000 subscriber giveaway video, please be patient with me. The holidays are absolutely hectic here. I've been dealing with a lot of pain, and I will get on as soon as I possibly can. I hope everybody's having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.